Thanks for showing up on day 2 of this journey, this 30-day journey that we're doing together. Um, Before I jump into today's topic, I just wanted to acknowledge that it's been a rough day around here in our house, and I wasn't sure how I was going to show up today. It's just been a day. My internet has crashed. The work I was supposed to do from home can't do it. Everything I do requires internet access, so when I don't have that, things get a little bit challenging on the work front. Um, I have a dog that keeps throwing up and a child that keeps crying because he's not understanding why we have to stay home for so long. So, all that to say, it hasn't been my favorite day of our quarantine thus far, but this is really precisely why I'm trying to do this every day because I feel like it's important for me in the midst of all this to still just show up for myself, for my creativity, and to carve out even a little bit of time to think about how I can be creative, how I can kind of give my mind a rest from everything that's going on. So earlier today, my daughter was drawing up a storm. She's been drawing different kinds of dogs. And she wanted me to help her color one of her drawings. She wanted me to collaborate with her, basically. And that's when I kind of had the aha moment of, okay, that's what I want to talk about today. And I talk about collaboration a lot because I love it. It's one of the reasons I was drawn to film so much is that I just love collaborating with other people. And I feel that writing, even though often a solitary task or undertaking, is a collaborative effort. So whether we're talking about writing with people we know, other writers, um, whether we are actually engaging in projects with other people, I still think of writing as a collaborative process. And it made me think of a class that I had during graduate school, one of my favorites. It was called Collaborations and Crossings. And each week we were invited to collaborate either with a different medium, a different artist, a different time of day. You know, every week we had a different challenge in the ways that we were invited to collaborate. And so I went and dug out some of my collaborations. So one week, um, it just made me think of some simple things we could do right now in the midst of this. So one week I had a friend come over who's not a writer. She's a photographer actually. And the challenge was to collaborate, but each person had a different piece that they controlled. So like one of the collaborations, one of us could do words. One of us could write down words. We could find words. We were in charge of the word content for the piece, and then the other person was in charge of the art and the design and the layout and what it looked like. And so we had control over one aspect, and then we had to trade. And so then the other person got to do the visual piece, and the other person was now in charge of the words. And then for the third one, we got basically had control over both. So we both had input over the words used, the look, the layout. And so we spent the better part of a day. We had every craft supply I owned scattered on the floor. And it was a lot of fun. And so it's actually an activity that I would like to invite you to try at some point, either today or this month, because one, you can do this on your own. You can get out magazines, and if you're like me, it's a great excuse. I have craft paper up the wazoo. So, I mean, I just get out one of these. I love paper. So, I get inspired just by looking at different kinds of paper. Um, so, you can get out the supplies that you have and maybe some magazines and just cut out words. Like, if you aren't in the place where you feel like you can generate your own words, I'm not a poet, but I love doing cutout poems. Like I've always loved that because it's kind of a limitation. There's a set number of words that I get to use and move around the page and modify, and it's just fun. And so I really feel like during this time, as much as we can invite some playfulness back into our practice, even if that practice looks different than what we're used to, I feel like we can start to find some of our joy and some of that creative spark could start showing up. And so this is an exercise you could do on your own. If you wanted to, you could collaborate with the words you find and the supplies that you already have in your house. If you're quarantined with other people right now, you could certainly invite other people to do this with you, whether it's one of your kids, a spouse, your whatever. You can have somebody collaborate with you. I was trying to brainstorm ways of having other people collaborate with you, and you could even have somebody send you some words, and then you could make a cut up poem from them or anything. I mean, the your imagination is the limit when it comes to this kind of exercise, but it's really fun and freeing, and usually the results are something unexpected. And so I just thought getting back to some of these playful practices might be beneficial for all of us. And so I was going to read you one of these I did in grad school. And so this was one, my friend was in charge of the drawings and the visual piece, and then I was in charge of finding words. And so these are all words I found from magazine articles. And this one's called We're Not. Uncertain about a lot of things. Stood naked at the edge. She toted me. Whipped me with a lamp cord. I disagree with myself a lot. Nightmares can take time. Prankish and impulsive, even a little vain. Cut the electricity to let her go. Covered with fine hairs, mellow yellow cheese. Hope boarded a bus. Hope divorced. It's a free country. Tumble down Walls Town. Withdrawing into fear and delusion. Pigeon patter pickles, slurpy cousin. She loved me more. Still, I never intended. And so that was just one that we did, and it was a lot of fun. And I would just invite you to play. I think that we're so focused on everything else swirling around us right now that if we can take a little bit of time out and just clear our minds and use our hands and collaborate with what we have in front of us and don't feel like we have to generate content from our jumbled minds, it might be fun to see what comes out of a project like that. So please, at some point this month, if this appeals to you in any way, I would love to see what you collaborate with, what you come up with, what this project, you know, what conclusion you come to from this project, any result that you have. So if you want to share a picture of it, I know you can comment here in Teachable. I don't know yet if you can add attachments. I'm still learning as I go. I know you can post just comments, and so if you just want to tell me about it in words, that's great. I would also love to see the visual product. So if it's not possible to post a picture in your comments, please feel free to email me pictures at andthenwrite@gmail.com. I would love to see them. Or if you're on Instagram and you want to tag me on anything that you come up with, I would love to see your finished project. And just let me know your thoughts about this and any other ideas that you have for collaboration. I'm pretty sure that this is a topic that will come up multiple times this month because I do feel like it's one of the ways we can continue to connect with each other is to collaborate with each other in whatever form that can take right now. And so I'm sure you'll be hearing about this again at some point, but I look forward to seeing what you come up with. All right, take care.